The Mount Lebanon Cycling and Caffeine Club was founded in 1988. Since last March, their normal ride activities and important social network have been drastically changed by the coronavirus pandemic.
Before the pandemic, our typical rides on Saturday and Sunday would leave at 7. We would go into town or out into the country and find a coffee shop somewhere. And that was part of the social aspect of the riding because as much as we enjoyed riding, I think we enjoyed one another's company as much. Having an opportunity to discuss things. That's one of the advantages of cycling over other activities.
The best thing I like about riding with a group is the pre and post rides, sitting and having coffee, discussing the ride, discussing bikes, and forgetting about everything else in the world. You know, it's fun, relaxing, and it's just great camaraderie.
When the U.S. locked down in March 2020, Allegheny County ordered mandatory shelter-in-place and social distancing measures. The club's last ride together was Saturday, March 14th. The pandemic has impacted the cyclists in many ways the past 8 months.
During the time that we've been riding, we always had groups of cyclists, anywhere from 5 or 6 in the colder weather up to 25, even 30 on holidays. Since the pandemic, we've really dropped down. Sometimes we only ride with 1 or 2 other people. I've been riding sometimes by myself. It's more of a defense mechanism. We really don't want a lot of people grouped together with an opportunity or at least the possibility of spreading the virus.
So that's when I decided to go back to picking a couple friends, making a pod with people I knew who were isolating, keeping social distancing, and being safe. Now, when I do ride with anybody, we usually just start to ride, and come home. And no socializing before and after a ride.
Despite everything, the cyclists have experienced positive changes as well.
One of the things that's kind of surprising is that many of the riders, including myself, have been riding a lot more during the pandemic than normally, because we're not going out to dinner, we're not meeting with friends in social groups. So I ride just about every morning, and I find that's true of a lot of my friends. They're doing the exact same thing. Our weekend rides are even longer in some cases because you're not stopping at a coffee shop and spending a half an hour chatting. You're staying on the bike, getting a nice long ride in and getting home.
In March, when everything really started shutting down, riding was kind of a pleasure for me because there was no traffic. Everywhere you went, parking lots were empty, no traffic around shopping areas where I have to go by. And the further away from any town area you got, it was just desolate, quiet. Absolutely no, you could hear birds, you could hear everything with no trucks, cars whizzing by you at any time. The one thing that cycling does for me is when I leave this garage and get on my bike, all the background chatter of the pandemic, the elections are gone. For those 2 to 3 hours that I'm riding, I'm only thinking about riding, enjoying what I see, listening to the sounds, and it's just 2 to 3 hours of being away from everything that's going on in the outside world right now.
The cyclists all agree on what they miss the most about riding during the pandemic.
I think what we miss the most by dealing with the virus is the fact that we're not riding with friends. You miss the opportunity to chat about your bicycle, about your family, about your pets. It's something that we hope to get back sometime soon, but we're really not sure when that's going to happen.
There's an empty feeling after a ride. I mean, I enjoy the ride. It feels good to get the exercise in for me, but I really miss the camaraderie with friends pre and post ride. One of the things I would do once this stops or the switch is finally turned off and we can get back to what they call normalcy is the first thing is get my group back together and riding, having coffee, discussing things, and just being with people again.